Welcome back to the Fairy Tail series review. This video has been proven to be one of the hardest ones I have worked on. Not only because I wanted to make sure I got everything right about these characters, but also because I want to get everything right about the world we will be cast into after this arc. Because after this arc, it gets a lot more strange. So join me as I cover the Tenrou Island arc. At the Fairy Tail Guild, there are no jobs today, just everyone being your local drunk, much like my stepfather. And why is this? Because Lisana has returned after her believed death. Everyone's having a grand old time destroying the place, beating the hell out of each other, you know, local guy stuff. But it's that same celebratory nature and destructiveness that has caught the attention of the council, who vow to bring Fairy Tail to an end any means necessary. Also, in a different area, a man just walks through a forest and kills wolves without raising a single hand. But it also seems that he's not wanting to kill these creatures either. And for some reason, he announces Natsu's name. And speaking of Natsu dreams of getting his big chance to prove himself to Igneel in hope that his father will come back. And it's that idea of family that carries Natsu through to the infamy. That is what I love about this character. Family and drive are the two things that make this character move. And then Kana, who has also had a singular moment to be somewhat of a sentient character, has broken into Lucy's apartment to declare that she will be leaving Fairy Tail, which happens every year apparently. But the reason she wants to leave is because this will be her 5th time taking the exam, and she will be the only one around her group in the guild to not become an S-class wizard despite her taking it this many times. In fact, it is the same depressive nature that brings her to an alleyway to be drunk and unconscious in the middle of a blizzard. I think we're asking the wrong questions here. And when she was brought into Lucy's apartment, she spilled everything, but it wasn't revealed to the audience. But what is explained is that she can't be part of Fairy Tail if she fails again. So Lucy tells her that she will help Kana be an S-class wizard. Now let's establish here what is established in Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail has told us what our main character's goals are. Natsu wants to face Igneel. Kana wants to do this because she cannot be a part of Fairy Tail for some mysterious reason that the audience doesn't know about. The council is going to be appearing as they are keeping tabs on Fairy Tail to catch them and shut them down due to their recklessness. But also, someone seems to be a big part of this arc. A man that we only know because he knows Natsu by name, hoping to see him again. This is a 4-way street of ideas that are going to hopefully keep the audience engaged for the entire arc. But as it stands right now, the audience is made to feel one thing right now: total hype. Here are the decisions made. I'll go from who was selected and who their teammate is. So we have Kana and Lucy, Natsu and Happy, Gajiel and Levy, Gray and Loki, Juvia and Lisana, Elfman and Evergreen, and Freed and Big Slow. Also, forget like half of these, they will not be relevant for the majority of this video. These are our 8 teams that will lead us through the arc, and without further ado, let's go over the only fight that was, and felt important, into swaying a character down an interesting path. Natsu and Happy versus Guildarts. Because while it does give Natsu development and break the rule on his character, it still uses the same system it always has for his fights. The fights are never about raw power. It's not necessarily about beliefs, but what it's about is Natsu's beliefs can be challenged. Can Natsu's beliefs be challenged? And Guildarts vs. Natsu takes it in stride. Guildarts shows Natsu in many ways that he is a stronger wizard than him, and puts the fear of God in him to prove that much. He's showing Natsu that those wizards who fight him are courageous, but to become a stronger and even gentler person, and become an S-class wizard, Natsu must know when to stand down, because it's not about raw power and unstoppability. It's about growing as a person. This is taking a literal form of Natsu's fights, because it is usually Natsu's beliefs being challenged through a fight. Natsu's entire character can be described as overconfident and never walking away, because he doesn't think, he just does. But by knowing his limitations, he will be able to break past those barriers. He's not necessarily being told to always run when he's outgunned, but to know why he's weak. He'll be able to become so much stronger. And throughout all of this, he's being challenged with words, and his mind is actually being changed via Guildart's words and beliefs. Pitting these two against each other is perfect because of how it was handled. it's something that I feel breaks up something with Natsu's character, and I like how he was challenged on his beliefs, and because of that, it gives us a reason as to why Natsu can have development down the line, even when it's seemingly out of character. So to see a character like him actually begin to have development is truly amazing to see, and it actually kicks us into the next event, with our winners being Kana and Lucy, Elfman and Evergreen, Natsu and Happy, Gray and Loki, and Levi and Gajeel. And with the winners actually coming out victorious, Natsu is actually thinking about what Guildart said, but everyone now has reached their second challenge. Find the grave of Fairy Tail's founder, Mavis Vermilion. Now let's check on Wendy and Mest.
How can I fail this year too?
It's my fault. You never should have teamed up with me.
Once again, protect the child at all costs. But now, thanks to Mest, we know two things. Tenrou Island is hidden from outsiders, and something secret is being kept there. That thing, while not being stated, as of now, I believe is this man dressed in all black, who is never initially supposed to be there, and it's his magic power. It seems that he must be somewhere on this island. However, the other secret could be something else entirely. The secret magic that sits within the tree, in the very middle of this island. Everyone is doing their best to survive from dozens of powerful monsters, but over with Elfman and Evergreen, they find themselves in a much more dire situation. The man in black runs into Elfman and Evergreen and seems terrified of everything. I mean, he's absolutely no threat, but he views himself as the most powerful weapon in existence, because within a single second, he nearly kills both accidentally, but when Natsu shows up, he instantly changes. He's no longer in fear, he's in shock, he's crying, and his eyes don't leave Natsu at all. He seems to have extremely powerful emotions towards Natsu. Exactly why is that? I have no clue why he's being like this towards Natsu, at least at this moment. Show, don't tell. And if it's not important, don't show it. Considering how Mashima has proven time after time that he is a storytelling god, I doubt he has any reason to put this here. But the moment must fade as he does the same thing towards them again. And the only reason Natsu's alive is because of his scarf. Igneel gave it to him and it absorbed the magic, but it turned black from this, and for what reason other than that? I have no clue, but the trials still move on. Don't let this one singular mishap stop the trials. Let the next one.
For we are Grimoire Heart. We've walked the path of devils and will force this world into the darkness. Tonight, these devils will bathe Tenrou Island in the blood of fairies. I'm looking forward to the agony on Makarov's face. Our showdown against the Fairy Tail Guild starts now!
This is a character you might know, Gajeel. While neither the invasion nor Gajeel versus these two are necessarily important for us to get the overall story for the core of this arc, what is Gajeel and what brings him to the table as a character. Now look past him being evil because he's him. Now for you to understand something, Levi gets pissed at Gajeel for calling her tiny and weak and making her look like a child, so she runs off stating how much she hates him, which, for what he did, honestly kind of feels out of character. Woman, he crucified you and two of your friends on a tree. This is where you draw the line. She gets jumped by a dog samurai and a chicken man. I cannot believe those are words that came out of my mouth. And Gajeel saves her in time. This fight really sucks, so we'll skip around the entire battle itself. However, the story it is showing us is a new era for the characters. Gajeel would have never done this in his first appearance. He probably would have fought both sides and tried to kill them. The best thing you can do for a character is to make them flawed and developing them as time passes. No one likes a character with no flaws, at least when it's not done correctly. But everyone can get behind a character who's trying to be a better person and fight past these obstacles. And throughout all the pain, that character can actually become way better. Take this as food for thought. While Gajeel fighting these two isn't a good fight by any means, it does establish that Gajeel has changed and his motivations for battle have changed. This battle truly shows that contrast of then versus now. It's not necessarily only a battle of Gajeel versus them, it's also a battle of Gajeel then versus now. And it intermittently reminds the audience of this entire spectacle throughout the fight, with the best display of this being Gajeel and Makarov talking just after the destruction of the guild hall and what was decided. Gajeel answers in this battle by beating his opponents and claiming it. I am a fairy tale wizard. peak character. It is revealed exactly who is on the island, the Seven Kin Purgatory of Grimoire Heart. They are here for one man, Zareth the Black Wizard, who is also on the island. But soon Hades' generals will be arriving, though the only important ones are Ultir, Marudi, I think this guy's name is Zancro, and one more. Everyone here is horrified. I mean, Zareth and Grimoire Heart are in one area, but Mest is in heaven. You see, Mest is actually a member of the council. He infiltrated them to shut them down, and he does have a ship to make these arrests ready. A great part of any arc is the setup. This arc was set up as the most difficult challenge for all. However, what did we go over in the Tournament arc video? A great way to set up something is by taking away one simple thing, hope, and replacing it with something else, fear. This is why the Cell Games was such a good tournament. Fear. Fear is the greatest thing to replace hope, because it is the exact opposite of hope, and it will bring the audience to a greater point of fear. It's set up that this win for Fairy Tail is not just unlikely, it's an impossibility of happening, and I am all for it. But not just that, Makarov, the Guildmaster, whose job it is to save these kids from imminent danger, seems helpless and weak compared to Grimoire Heart, and if he uses Fairy Law, well, Hades has something ready to fire right back at him, but he's still too weak to fight him. But exactly who is Hades? What's meant to go through the head of the audience is why does he know this magic? Why is he familiar with Fairy Tail, and how does he have access to this island? Hades? He's none other than the same man who had bestowed the position of Fairy Tail's third master position onto Makarov, Kretch, the second master of Fairy Tail. Hades became this because he saw the true form of magic. It was darkness, born into it, molded by it, and what have you. That's when he arrived at Zareth, and so Makarov may sleep as Fairy Tail's story comes to an end.
I hope you're ready to bear this burden. I feel like someone just walked over my grave.
Natsu versus Zancro. Let's discuss the specifics of this character that create the why of this fight. Natsu's not here to kill, he's there to let everyone know not to beat down his family. Zancro uses Fire God Slayer magic. They are shown to us as opposites, and that is my favorite type of rivalry or enemy type. Opposites show that they are on each end. Keeping the balance in this duality, we can clearly tell who the hero is, but it's meant for us to stay in and know what our hero is up against. Olliwap's Natsu and beats him within an inch of his life. Natsu can't fight back because he has been countered, and despite being beaten down, Natsu still vows to kill Master Hades because no matter what, he will not let Hades get away with this. This is yet another example of Mashima challenging Natsu's beliefs, with challenges upon challenges. Natsu now has newer beliefs, beliefs that give him the strength to overcome any odds. Zancro doesn't have such beliefs. His magic he views as far more powerful, so he doesn't need to worry about winning this fight, because in his mind, he doesn't have limitations. Natsu has never been broken, apart from the fight against Guildarts, but Natsu will still fight until he is broken, and he will not give up just yet. But before Zancro can deliver a killing blow, Makarov grabs him, but Natsu's still set ablaze, and Natsu, engulfed in a flame that destroys everything, falters and his magic ceases. But he does ultimately eat the fire and open a 50-gallon drum of whoop-ass on this man, and defeats the Fire God Slayer.
Why did you buy this?
It was on sale.
Claiming yet another victory for Natsu and his beliefs. He still has yet to be broken down, and Natsu, despite everything, shows that he won't be broken down, and that he has yet to be broken. But we'll see where he is by the end of this arc. Small child, execute her immediately. After looking for the contestants, Juvie and Urza run into this small child, known as Marudi. First impressions mean a lot. Her targets are numbered, but the first target is Gray because he apparently hurt Ultir, the daughter of and when threatened, Juvie is pissed and becomes the most terrifying thing I could ever imagine. Yes, Juvia is terrifying. Yes, I think her character is discardable trash most of the time, but Maruti has something up her sleeve. But to work within every bit of power she has, she still must die. Soul Link magic. Which is basically if I bound person 1 to person 2, whatever I do to person 1 happens to person 2, and vice versa. Maruti connects not just Juvia's and Gray's souls, but as well as her own, meaning that if either die, all 3 of them die. And she is doing this for Altair, because Gray made Altair cry. To be fair, Altair has killed children. Juvia is the best character to interact with Maruti, because Juvia is insanely loving towards Gray, while Maruti utterly despises him. But Maruti is a character of vengeance, but she's blinded by rage. But both were brought into a family by one, and those people are the most important to them. Juvia and Gray and Maruti and Altair, because both are willing to do anything, even die for their person of choice. This actually shows to me that Juvia is not an idiot, rarely, but she's not bad at all. Well, she's not bad some of the time. Juvia earlier on sucked. Currently, she sucks, but only most of the time now. But I know that Mashima has mastered character creation and writing, and all it takes is one time to change the view of your character, and he was able to do this by using their initial conflict over the same character, one of love, one of hate, to make these two realize that neither is the enemy. Juvia knew that fighting Maruti wasn't the way to go. She wouldn't let either one die because life is valuable, and Juvia shares with her a new path to become something other than evil. But even still, Altair will soon fight Gray, and there's nothing that anyone aside from these two can do to stop it. Meanwhile, on, I'm assuming, the exact other side of the island, Natsu and the group are trying to find the camp, with Makarov in tow. Something that I like is done with this character of interest in this arc is that Kana is actually being used well. She's flawed earlier in the arc. Kana left Lucy behind to find Mavis's grave to become an S-class wizard, because she views herself as unworthy of being in the Fairy Tail Guild, achieved that goal. But here, at the gravesite, with just her and no one else in sight, she thinks back to the reason of why she joined, and she realizes that she's flawed in her reasoning. And it's that sense of wrong that can bring a character full circle and make them memorable for the audience. People love flaws. People love when characters grow and become better people. Think back to really any character you've enjoyed. Why do you like that character? More than likely because of their flaws and the fact that the characters can become better because they learned where they are wrong. Development is the foundation of really any good series. Mashima's writing style and Fairy Tail's writing style are completely dependent on his style because family is the basis of Fairy Tail. But Kano, she views herself as unworthy of being in Fairy Tail because she's lost, and she views herself as being unworthy of Fairy Tail because she's trying to win. It's a lose-lose situation for her. But if Kana cannot help her guild family, she has no right to face her blood family and her father, Guildarts. She views herself as worthless and evil and just an overall bad friend. Mainly because you are, you dumb bitch. But Mavis comes in and gives her a gift to help fight for those friends. Fairy Glitter. And her big change of heart is displayed in her words, because even if this is her last fight, she has to repay them for everything they've done for her. She appears to Lucy, Wendy, Natsu, and Happy, and Carla, and opens up the second Cannibal Pass! It does nothing. Or she doesn't. I don't think it was explained how this magic works. But while she didn't have the power to beat this man, guess what? Someone else does. And guess what else? He is pissed. Pushing people back is constantly mentioned. This is showing us exactly who is on top here. But not just that. It shows growth in strength when something is really valuable on the line. It's meant to show that these people are stronger than their opponents because it's more than strength that they value. But just like how this trial is bringing our characters from one point to another, those words spoken by Guildarts are exactly what's happening even now. It's showing our characters maturing in real time. What's happening here during each fight is showing just how outclassed Fairy Tail is. No matter what, no matter who shows up to the scene, it's not enough. No magic nor person can stop these powerhouses whatsoever. The pinnacle of that idea is the doing away with their family tree being taken literally by uprooting the tree on Tenrou Island. It's the final blow for Fairy Tail, as this tree protects them from near death. But the tree boosts their magic, and with no magic boost, they cannot do anything. They have been rendered powerless. This was the breaking down of the Fairy Tail Guild. But the biggest challenge here is for Urza, because she believes that power gives her strength. She needs to depend upon that strength to win against Ozma. The rules are simple, and he brings down his magic and puts the tree back up, but he still won't do it without being beaten. Urza fights and is nearly beaten to death, but she is too weak. It's power unlike she's ever had to face before. She's so close to winning, but time after time she is beaten down once again.
Tanya Fairy Tail, Miss Urza Scarlet, you fought bravely. I won't forget your name as long as I live.
I'm not done! It won't end this way!
You don't have a choice in the matter. I win, and there's nothing you can do about it, Urza! Terra
Don't tell me you're giving up.
Jalal?
We're here.
My friends. I've been such a fool. I forgot the most important thing of all. I wasn't protecting everyone around me. They were the ones protecting me all along.
She hears the voice of Jalal and all of her friends, because they've been protecting her for years, not vice versa. And this reminds her that she has never fought alone. Her friends have always been her source of strength, not the magic power she has. She manages to kill Ozma, who then brings back the tree, returning the magic to Fairy Tail. And with this, everyone receives their magic once again, and beats the hell out of every person in their way. Ultear lies to Grey. Ultear tells Grey that Hades killed her mother. She plans to use him, and when both square up, Grey lets her know that he doesn't fight to die for his family. So one could also take away the fact that he is taking her life in the process. But right before Grey goes off and to fight Hades, we see what Ultear is exactly. She resents her mother and her mother's students because of her memory. Because her memory was erased from and she was replaced and became something of a monster willingly. But we see what she missed and exactly what she meant to I love villains, and this is a great way to define a villain. So it reveals how misinformation can corrupt people and force them into being villains. Her character is the embodiment of that. Ultear's time reversal magic is something she uses to rewrite what she believes is the truth, but it is also a manifestation of her inability to move on. So her trying to kill Grey also plays into that. As she kills Grey, she beats the past, and her truth becomes the truth. She wasn't born like this, she was groomed to become this. She was not forced by Hades and forgotten by her mother, at least in the traditional way of forcing. Hades made his truth become the truth, but Grey never forgot. But herself never forgot. Ur's name for her daughter means tear. It was for love and happiness. A love and happiness that had felt for her daughter. But now it's time to fight Hades. Of course, Grey can't fight him, but that's why he must do it with others. So the strongest team joins together again to finally fight and beat the demon, Hades. The battle between Team Natsu and Hades is the triumph of teamwork and the power of unity over a dark ambition explored by Hades, which is what we had seen in Natsu vs. Guildarts. Hades, once the second master of Fairy Tail, represents the corruption when his pursuit for knowledge had brought him to a place where morals do not exist. His transformation into a dark guild leader is driven by the desire to create an ultimate magic world through the essence of magic, something that he believes is at its core dark. Quote, Zer's power embodies the great dangers of ambition and the loss of one's original ideas. Pretch lost himself to something that was dark, and that he was fooled into believing, which had led him to become Hades. Team Natsu is every one of those core values of a fairy tale wizard. Friendship, got it. Loyalty, completely. And no matter what horrors they see, they can still cross any obstacle through their need to protect those who are close to them. The fight is not decided by raw power. Call back to what Guild Arts had taught to Natsu. No matter what, they cannot win, but even so, they see their limitations at the edge of this all. They can become stronger no matter what, and everyone has learned that strength isn't everything to a fight. They need to learn when they cannot win. So they must fight together, as brother-in-arms to the last breath. There is a chance they could all die. All hope has officially left them. They need to think strategically. They need someone who can beat this man.
So this is the fossil that took out Gramps. Interesting.
Hades or Pretch, the second guildmaster of Fairy Tail, is the dark side of magic, and the obsession with that dark side. His journey from not just a founding member, but also Fairy Tail's second master, to the leader of this dark guild, Grimoire Heart, is the corruption of his ideals. This sounds akin to another member we all focused on, especially since we haven't seen him in our third video. He is exactly what Pretch is, someone who sought power through the darkest ways. I think Loxus being the one to put the pause on Pretch and walk him down is perfect, because they're both the same guy, just different times. But Pretch was an unchecked version of that ideal, while Loxus was not only checked on his path, but beaten down and punished for these dangerous ideals. I also believe that you can take the fact that he had a family around him is what made him better at the end of the day. Better than Hades, at the very least. What I highlighted here, these dangerous ideals had threatened many lives, because he wanted Fairy Tail to become the most powerful guild of all time. What I highlighted here is Loxus. He is the theme that true strength isn't what you have in raw power or magic, but what you have in your willingness to fight for those you consider friends. The beatdown of Hades displays the central message of Fairy Tail. The bonds between family are the most powerful force. Even after everything, Loxus tanks an attack and is taken down, but gives his power to Natsu to keep moving forward, because if they go down, everyone goes down. It's no longer a case that if even if Grimoire Heart makes it out, then Fairy Tail lives. No, it's either Grimoire Heart dies out or Fairy Tail dies out. And at this point, our heroes need to win. Natsu once again puts the pause on Hades and in fact nearly kills him. And there's some celebration, there's happiness, there's the light on the other side. But once again, that light is completely broken down by Hades standing up once again. It seems that this creature is impossible to defeat. Our heroes have no option but to give up. They don't even have the strength to move anymore. So all they can do now is give up. Hades simply just stands there, and it already explains to Fairy Tail that they've lost, that they cannot win. It's an impossibility of Fairy Tail winning. To travel down the path of magic means to sink into the depths of darkness. At the bottom of those depths, you will find it, glittering in the gloom, the one magic. You're almost there, you've almost arrived at the one magic, but that almost is very deep. It is the great magic world that can dig it out of the depths, the world of Zareth. Evening, at the awakening of Zareth, the world will change, and that is when I will finally attain the one magic. But you will never go to the great magic world. You are found lacking. You aren't prepared for the depths. The Book of Zareth, 4th chapter, 12th verse, Hidden Magic Nemesis. When you have the depths of magic at your command, you can create demons even from clots of earth. You can become the judge of heaven, making demons dance at your whims. That is hidden magic. And throughout all of this, the entire group is afraid. Urza can't stand up. Natsu and Lucy embrace for the impact. Wendy is afraid. Gray is afraid. Everyone here cannot win. It's all over. But unlike the majority, Natsu, once again, stands up. Natsu as a character is the antithesis of giving up. He is the antithesis of weakness. When you have a character such as Hades, you send Natsu out to fight him, because no matter what, Natsu will not give up. Is it idiotic? Absolutely. But when everything is taken away from you, even hope and you have nothing else to look for. Natsu will dig in those very depths of darkness and dig out the one remaining sliver of hope, and he will use it to proclaim his victory. Throughout their fight, Happy and Carla destroy Hades' heart, while Lily holds off the guards. This act of teamwork weakens Hades, proving that strength lies in cooperation rather than individual dominance. Fear is not evil. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It can help one learn their own weaknesses. With understanding that, it rebuilds the team. Their minds are stronger than ever, and they know where they fall, and they know how to rise from that falter. This moment is personal growth and them accepting vulnerability as a path to strength. They recognize where they are vulnerable and they're growing because of that. The teams change forward, with members, again, running ones with Hades. It represents the ultimate expression of all of their beliefs. The final blow delivered by Natsu, using a move called is not just a victory, but an affirmation that the bonds of family are the spirit of the Fairy Tail Guild, and they are stronger than any dark magic or individual power, which has been built up throughout the entirety of Fairy Tail. And with that singular move, Hades is beaten. That is the magic of Fairy Tail. My name is Talon Talks. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.